guys. Welcome to Noonday Inspiration today, Wednesday, the 2nd of June. Oh my, we are at halfway during the year. It is so good to see you. It's a great day in Jamaica. It started out this morning a little overcast, a little rain, but the sun is out shining. Check in and tell us what is going on wherever you are in the world today. Norma Mintos, good to see you. Great to see you. Check in with us. Let us know you're doing well. It is the 2nd of June already, and you made it. You made it through January, February, March, April, May, and now we're at June. Despite what was going on, despite whatever challenges you may have had, you made it. You're here, you're here, you're here. So, thank you for being here. Check in when you are here so that we can celebrate you, so that we can take this time together to remember that God's goodness overwhelms us. God's goodness runs after us. If there could ever be a way that something could be running us down, it is the goodness of God. If there could ever be a way that an image that we could use to remind ourselves that we're never ever outside of the power and presence of God, regardless of what we're going through, it is that God's goodness is running after us because God has always provided all that we need. So it's great to see you. As usual, for our inspiration, we're using our Daily Inspiration for Better Living, a publication of the Universal Foundation for Better Living. And we're in the month of June. Each month, is associated with a spiritual faculty that we have. And this month, the faculty is your gift, my gift of imagination. That things that gets us to vision, to see whatever it is that is not yet appearing, to kind of conjure it up, that gift. The physical center is located between the eyes. We also call it the third eye, that can see what is not showing on the paper, but you can kind of conjure up whatever it is in your mind. Represented by the disciple Bartholomew and associated with the color light blue. Hi Reverend Green, hi Demoy, hi Michelle. It's great to see you. So, your goodness is running after me. If God's goodness, if you can attest to God's goodness, type in the chat. God's goodness is right here and now with me. God's goodness is right here and now with me. As our writer for this month talks to us about God being our compass. God being our compass. Now, this month is a compilation of the writings of UFBL ministers who have written specifically for the edition. And today's writing is from Reverend Dorothy Wilson. She, the senior minister of the Living Truth Center. And she's talking about God is your compass. So, let's have the team remind us that God's goodness is always, always, always ever available. As you type in the chat, God's goodness is here running after me. Over to you, team.
I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. goodness of God. It's all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am made, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Oh, 'cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Oh, your goodness is running after, it's running after me. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after. With my life laid down, with my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Oh God, your goodness is running after, it's running after me.
It's running after me. Say,
Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after,
hallelujah.
it's running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me.
Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. All I can say is wow. Ah, breathe with me. I'm feeling the presence and power of God move and well up in me. The reminder that if you are faithful, if I am faithful, if I keep my attention focused, centered on God, that God's goodness always takes care of me. What an assurance. 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 Our writer says God is your compass. God is your compass. You know, a compass gives direction. A compass tells you where to go. And I often tell people, you know, when things come up, I say to them, you have a choice which one of the roads you are going to travel down. You have a choice. I have a choice. Which road will I travel? So a thought appears. Somebody says something, or you think something, or something happens. And you and I have the power of choice to decide, are we going to go down the road of anger and hurt and worry and fear and guilt and sickness and blame, or are we going to stay in the lane of the goodness of God? Are we going to stay in the lane of the goodness of God? And that is what today is about when our writer says to us, God is your compass. God is your compass. God is a magnetic pole within you that works like a compass. A magnetic pole within you that works like a compass. God, your inner compass, will lead, guide and direct you in all your ways. God will give you right answers and keep you in perfect peace when you keep your mind stayed on God. So again, I'm reminding you, and I reminded every single day. This week I had great opportunity with workmen at home to be reminded, Conroy, are you going to stay in the goodness of God, or are you going to allow the workmen to do what we call in Jamaica, draw you out? You know when them draw you out? When they draw you out in Jamaica is when they do things or say things that would cause you to express things that are less like the power and presence of God. That's when them draw you out. And oftentimes people draw us out, meaning they say things that trigger buttons and things inside of us to be angry, to be resentful, to be guilty, to be jealous, to blame. And we have to decide, where is our attention? We have to focus our attention. Yes, Joseph, God is my compass. Yes, Demai. Yes, Norma, God's goodness running after us. The writer says, sometimes when things in your life do not seem to work out in the way you had planned, you may be tempted to give into the feelings of discouragement or frustration. But if you have faith in the truth that God is at work in you and through all things, if you hold to the belief that all things are in God's care and that divine order prevails, you are following the direction of your God compass. If you hold to the truth, if I hold to the truth that God is not on vacation, God is not sleeping, God never gone to take a vaccine, God is not in quarantine, God is not working on your schedule, God is being God all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time, keeping us in perfect peace. The question becomes, where is your attention? There's only God, period. Young people would say, period. There is only God. If you live with the God compass thought, you'll be protected and kept from anxiety and fear. Even if you find yourself in hell, and hell is not the physical place you die and go to somewhere. Hell is those thoughts that cause you to be angry, frustrated. It's almost like the whole world is just nothing operating. And many times we are there. Even if you find yourself in hell, you will know which way to go, because your God compass will point you to the way of deliverance, because that's all God can do. So the question becomes, will you keep your mind stayed on God? Will I keep my mind stayed on God? When you get up in the morning and the phone rings or a message comes in and it's not what you want to hear, will you remember and refocus your attention and go back to your compass, your God compass? Right? When the money doesn't show up on time, will you refocus and go back to your God compass? When it is that it seems like sickness and death is just overwhelming you, will you go back to your God compass? And know that in spite of what may be appearing, in spite of how rough it may seem, that God is always been God, working things out in divine order, in your favor, in my favor, never against you. That is the God compass. That's the assurance we are given every single day with every single thought. But we have to keep our mind stayed on God. My question, will you keep your attention focused on God? Will you keep your attention focused on the God compass? Will you utilize the compass? You have it. Nobody's going to give you one. When we used to go to school, we used to have to buy a compass in a geometry set, they used to call it. Now, you come built in with the compass, the God compass. It is in you. The moment you came onto this earth plane, you were equipped with the God compass. The question becomes, you have to now shift your attention to focus on the God compass, or you can shift your attention outside and focus on what the people them saying, and what the world's saying, and what the news saying, and what the this is saying. And it doesn't mean that you are not to keep up with current things, but the current things should not be what is helping you to make the decisions as to where you go, what you do, what you think. God should be what the thing is focused and based on. Because with God, you cannot fail. So I had to remind myself that this week when the workmen were doing their own thing, I had to just step back and say, God, guess what? You are the biggest workman that could ever work on anything that I'm a part of. You step in and take care of it. I'm going to follow your direction and your guidance. That is when you can switch. And the thing is, don't feel too bad if your thoughts start going down the wrong road. Don't feel too bad if you get a little angry, frustrated, and guilty and that kind of stuff. Just catch yourself and switch back to your God compass. God will keep you in perfect peace. If you keep your mind stayed on me, come on, I will keep you in perfect peace. Come on, team.
I will keep you in perfect peace. If you keep your mind stayed on me, I will keep you in perfect peace. If you keep your mind stayed on me, when confusion's all around, it won't get you down. You have my peace to surround you. I'll keep you in perfect peace if you only keep your mind stayed on me.
So you know, there's a story in the Bible that talks about Peter. Peter was in the boat, and Jesus called out to Peter and told him to come. And Peter stepped out and started to walk. And then Peter shifted his attention and started to drown. Same thing this lesson is talking about. If you keep your mind centered and focused, God will take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. Don't shift your attention. Keep your mind focused. Keep your mind focused. Don't shift the attention. Because once your mind is focused, God takes care of it. Keep your mind. I will keep you. God takes care of it. Once you're ready, once you're focused, God takes care of it. So, come on, tell me that verse again, Akira and Rudy. Do that verse and tell them about it. Come on.
Oh, He will keep us in perfect peace if we'll keep our minds stayed on Him. Yes, yes, He will keep us in perfect peace if we'll
time for your work. Now it's time for my work. That thing that has concerned you, that thing that has troubled you, that has worried you, that has caused you to question, at some point of the game, you took your mind off the God compass. And now it's time to return. Now it's time to call back on God, to awaken that presence and power inside of you. Now it's time to use up those spiritual faculties, your gift of imagination, to be able to see it rightly. It is now time. And so let us center our attention just between our eyes. Center your attention just between your eyes. And let us call forth imagination. Let us allow our minds to see the highest possibility for whatever it is that may concern us. The highest possibility. If that thing worked out in the best possible way, what would that look like? How would I feel? What would I do? What is the highest possible vision? And allow your imagination to run wild. Not questioning anything that comes. Because sometimes things come and they seem weird. We don't understand what they mean, but later on it is revealed to us. Just allow yourself to imagine. Allow yourself to imagine. And then you ask yourself, who do I have to become? Who do I have to become for this thing to be made manifest in my life, world, and affairs right now? Who do I have to become? Remember, our call is always to become something bigger than we are expressing. Because if we were already expressing that, we would have had whatever that thing is, whatever that experience is. So, who do I have to become? Listen for the answer. No judgment of it. And we ask ourselves, what do I have to release? What do I have to release for this highest vision to be made manifest? There's always something standing in the way between you and your good. If there's nothing standing in the way, you would have it. Whatever that good looks like, it could be tangible or intangible. So, what do I have to release? Maybe it is an attitude of unworthiness. Maybe there's some forgiveness to be done. Maybe you have to release some guilt. Maybe there is some area where you need to be a little bit more courageous and take a step as opposed to being fearful. You have to release fear. And the last thing is, what else do I need to know for this highest vision to be made manifest? These 4 questions help to bring into manifestation any desire that we like. But we have to be willing to become still and listen for the word. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. We have to become still and listen when we use the God compass, because God speaks to us all the time. We're not always listening. If your attention wanders, bring it back to God. Remember, don't judge whatever comes, just let it be. Make a note of it if you need to. And ask God, what does this mean? How should it show up? Because remember, your God compass is available to you all the time. Available to me, my God compass is available to me. You have yours, I have mine. You don't have to borrow mine, I don't have to borrow yours. Everybody has their own. Everybody is being guided by their own God compass, even if they're not going in the direction that you think they should go. This is especially true for parents and people in relationships. Sometimes we want to guide them and tell them where and how they should go. But they are being guided by their own indwelling Christ, and we have to allow them to follow their God compass. Knowing that God is good, we say it all the time, and all the time God is good. So the goodness of God that is running after us is not going to lead us into destruction. It's going to lead us into the path of righteousness. And so thy word, come on team, is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path.
Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path.
Thy word, come on, thy word. Just thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light. Remember, you have the compass. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet. Coming up for me now is, there's a song that we sing here, is a revival chorus that says, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I'm going to stay planted like a tree. I'm going to stay planted like a tree. Once I get those directions, I will stay planted like a tree. Planted by the water. I shall not be moved. My God compass shall not. Come on, I live and move and have my being in God, and I'm not moving from there. I shall not be moved. I'm rooted and grounded. I shall not rooted and grounded in God. I'm planted by the water. I shall not clarify this. Because we have a culture here in Jamaica that tends to think that, well, I grew up in a faith that believed that you die and go somewhere to some place in the sky that's called heaven. But heaven we experience here every day when we follow the God compass, when we live in accordance with what God wants us to do, with the principles of love and peace and justice and joy and faith and wisdom. That's when we experience heaven. So the song says if you want to go to heaven, which is not the place outside, but the heaven, the experience of heaven, which is like the experience of peace and bliss and joy and things working out in divine time and in divine order. That is why we stay rooted using our God compass. Rooted and grounded. Come on! Rooted and grounded. Yeah.
Rooted and grounded in the name of the Lord. Rooted and grounded in His love. And if you want to go to heaven,
fantastic partner on this Noonday Inspiration Experience. Thank you so much. I am blessed. I am blessed from all the sharings. Demoy, Claudette, Duvi, I'm blessed. Thank you, Judith. I'm blessed. Thank you, Michelle. I'm blessed. Reverend Phyllis, thank you, Jean. Sohail, blessed. Joseph Reed out of Toronto, blessed. Thank you. Norma Latimer, thank you. Blessed. Atardo, blessed. Beverly Facey. Kathleen Beckford, thank you. Rita McGregor, blessed. Thank you. Les Campbell, blessed. Michelle Nunes, blessed. Norma Minto, blessed. I'm inviting you to stay rooted and grounded today and in the days ahead. Tomorrow at 6:30, Thursday at 6:30 on this or same channel here and on YouTube, we're doing a rebroadcast of our service that happened on Sunday with the youth. They looked at Always Doing Our Best, which is the last of the 4 agreements in the book by Don Miguel Ruiz, the 4 agreements that we've been using for our lesson series. It was so good, and we had technical difficulties, so we had to do it twice. Join us for this spiritual experience tomorrow evening, 6:30. Noonday meditation tomorrow at 12. Tomorrow evening at 6:30, we have the experience of Always Do Your Best taught by our young adults with our young people on platform. Friday noonday, Saturday noonday, and Sunday morning we kick off a new series in the launch of UFBL month. Thank you so much. Share this and go forth rooted and grounded in the spirit and presence of God. Blessings.
Rooted